film some of this, and then I realized I was muted. Because why not? But anyway, a I'm starting to regularly stream D&D starting tomorrow, and so I'm filming a little campaign recap for you guys because we have about like 7 months worth of content for you guys to catch up on. But world's jankest stream ever. My hair's wet. My room looks like this. You guys are on the floor. I'm just doing this as a quick little thing before tomorrow's campaign. So I'm going to start with like the background of the story. We are in a world where there was an evil king named Vibaris who was overthrown, and now he's a necromancer and raising an army of the dead. And meanwhile, there's an army called the Hand of Radiance that's fighting him. And that is like the basic background of the story. But now we're going to start all over. We're going to start all over and read you my character background story. Her name is Zephyra. She is a wood elf druid. And let me pull up a picture of her once again for you guys. If I can find it. Here she is. So pretty. That's via PixArt. Yeah, Alicia, I don't know what happened. I do know what happened. I accidentally hit the mute button on my microphone. That's what happened. And I broke my earbuds yesterday, so I don't have earbuds, so I can't tell if there's sound or not. So, if it happens again, just let me know. But I'm going to read you my girl Zephyra's backstory. Zephyra hails from deep ancient woods where they were raised within a secluded druidic circle that revered the natural balance between life and death. The druids were caretakers of the wilderness, healers to the injured beasts, and guardians of the ancient magic that flowed through the forest. Throughout their being, Zephyra was guided by curiosity and thirst for knowledge. This led them to study not just the flora and fauna of the forest, but the arcane mysteries that ran through the veins of nature. The Druidic Circle was founded in harmony with ancient dragons, but this partnership is now one of legend, for the dragons have not been seen for centuries. Zephyra ventured to learn Draconic, as some ancient magical texts in their circle were written in the language of the dragons, knowledge Zephyra was determined to unlock to understand the past. One of these texts seemed to contain a strange prophecy of a lone being discovering the truth, but it comes at a price. It will be a hard and potentially bloody journey. Wanting to be prepared for this day, Zephyra was practiced in Circle of the Moon. One day, an ominous disturbance rippled through the forest. Animals became restless, trees began to wither, and strange whispers carried on the wind. The elder druids feared that the very cycle of life and death had been disrupted, rumors of the dead rising and walking again. When a mysterious beacon shone through the sky, Zephyra's curiosity led them to leave the druidic circle in order to investigate these strange occurrences. This was the first time she had ventured out from the circle and away from home. They were hoping to gain knowledge of the present and the past and a way to connect them. That's Zephyra's backstory. Little bit about her. She's neutral good, and her biggest character flaw originally was that she would do anything for knowledge. Now it has become crippling buttfuck anxiety. She is the most anxious fucking bitch you will ever meet. And that's definitely not a look into my own issues reflecting onto her. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so that's her. The next character down my sheet is Slipknot. I'm just going based on who sent what and like what order from my party members. Slipknot is a tiefling artificer, and Slipknot is played by Evan. So I'm going to read you the backstory that Evan wrote for Slipknot. They say don't dance with the devil, 'cause you'll never dance again. And with me being the devil in question, I'm damn sure you don't want to find out if that's true. To some, he would be a local hero of sorts. Others would glance at the tiefling and see a literal devil walking amongst men. One thing was certain, however, that he was a bastard through and through for hire. Born a tiefling in the world where first impressions mean everything, Slipknot the Bastard is a misunderstood but efficient bounty hunter and artificer. Our hero would be calm, yet somehow brimming with energy in his demeanor. While considered peaceful and sometimes playful by most, he is calculated and decisive in his dealings with any given situation. The life of a bounty hunter would be one of vigilance and awareness. Whether there be adventures or boundless treasures to be earned through dirty work, Slipknot the Bastard presses on with ambition and determination. Hi, Sploosh! Very unusual for PCs to take on our really life characteristics. Yeah, I know! It just happens. So that is Slipknot. This is, I don't know where this picture came from. I think it's someone's artwork that Evan found online. If I find out who it is, I'll let you guys know. But this is a general vibe of what Slipknot looks like. Está bien. Is that right? I don't know. I took 12 years of Spanish. I couldn't tell you a single thing. So Slipknot's characteristics, and this is me going based off of how I have perceived them. This is not coming from Evan, who wrote the character. This is just my experience with them. They're very, like, chaos gremlin, likes to provoke people, but he gets the job done. Yes, Slipknot like the band, exactly like the band. That is what it is. So that is party member number 2. Up next is Windchime, and Windchime is a ranger. I don't know the name of this species, but Windchime's like a little bird, like a little crow. I don't know. There's a specific name for this species, and I can't remember it. Celessa, I'm so sorry. I don't remember. But here is Windchime's backstory. One of many simple creatures living a simple life. Parents were loving but nomadic people, occasionally inching cautiously towards a village or settlement to exchange ware and goods for things that nature cannot provide. Unfortunately, after 14 years of this life, they encountered the wrong people, with only Windchime escaping alive. After enough time grieving, she came to the conclusion that though it was civilization that took her loved ones away, she can't live the rest of her life alone in the woods. She gathered her things and set off to explore what the rest of the world had to offer, eventually encountering a wood elf that she made fast friends with. And yes, Kenku. Yes, thank you so much. That is exactly what it is. Windchime is a Kenku. But that wood elf is another party member that we have yet to discuss. Oh, perfect. She is up next. So about Windchime. Windchime is like a quiet, like, strong and silent type. But when Windchime needs something done, Windchime fucks shit up. They always get the job done, and it's amazing to see every single time. Windchime mostly speaks in, like, squawks and things like that, so we don't hear Windchime speak a lot. But Windchime does have the ability to mimic any sounds that they have heard. So they do have the capability to speak. They just prefer not to. But up next is... Oh, and I'm sorry, Windchime is played by Celessa. I'm going to make a little chart for you guys on the names and shit. Hi, Jaeger! Speaking of D&D, the DM is here. I'm going over everyone's character backstories. And we are on Sophia, who plays Cypress of Altaria. Yeah, Cypress is a, I believe... I'm not sure. Half-elf. Cypress is a half-elf and a wizard. So this is Cypress's backstory, written by Sophia. In the city of Altaria, where magic shapes every aspect of life, Cypress was born into wealth. Her parents, powerful high elven wizards, expected nothing less than perfection from their only child. But when Cypress failed to manifest her magic by age 5, she became an embarrassment. In a society where magic was everything, her lack of it forced her to survive on the streets. Cypress ended up in the poorer districts of Altaria, where magic was scarce and survival was hard. She joined a community of thieves and con artists, learning how to steal from the rich. Despite this, she never gave up hope that one day her magic would awaken. At 16, she tried to steal an apple from an old druid named Tyranna, who caught her in the act. Instead of punishing her, Tyranna saw the spark of potential in Cypress and took her in, offering care and teaching her the ways of herbalism and nature magic. Slowly, under Tyranna's guidance, Cypress's latent magic began to manifest, though it was wild and tied to her emotions. When she was angry, fire raged from her hands. When she was sad, ice formed at her feet. Her magic was unpredictable, reflecting her inner turmoil. Years passed, and just as Cypress had started to feel at home, disaster struck. A deadly plague began sweeping through Alteria, a sickness that even magic could not cure. Tyranna fell ill, and with no cure in sight, Cypress set out to find a way to save her mentor and guardian. Despite her fears about her uncontrolled magic, she was determined to save the woman who had given her a second chance. Now, traveling through the lands in search of a cure, Cypress struggles to master her emotional magic. Each spell is a reflection of her feelings: anger, sadness, fear. Yet she knows she must control it if she is to save Tyranna and her city. With each step, Cypress learns more about herself and her powers. That is baby girl Cypress. Let's see. She is played in a very kind of silly, goofy kind of way. We love her. She's very much like a girl's girl type wizard. And she is kind of a little unserious. But she is ravenous for knowledge. She is always trying to get knowledge wherever she can get it. She's always trying to ask, Saphira, be like, hey, can you teach me some of your druidic spells? Or, anytime we go somewhere, Joy basically, but anger gets the control panel sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty much her. She's pretty happy-go-lucky. Except when things get serious. Sometimes. But she is always, looking for books and looking for ways to learn just any type of magic she can get her hands on. And I believe that is the last character that someone has written a backstory for that I have access to. So we have a couple more characters, but I'm going to try to give you their backstory to the best of my ability. But I don't have, I do not have their backstory written out by the person who wrote this character. So this is just based off my experience with them. But another character we have is Lilith, and Lilith is a tiefling paladin played by Sydney. Oops, don't look at my notification. Don't worry about it. That is what Lilith looks like. And Lilith used to work in the army of King Vibaris, the evil necromancer king I mentioned in the beginning. Lilith used to be a soldier in Vibaris' army, and her fiancé fought on the other side of the war, I believe with the Hand of Radiance, I think it was called. I can't really remember. Somehow her fiancé was killed, he died, and Lilith stopped working for Vibaris. That is pretty much the extent of my knowledge on her background. Lilith is a very guarded character. She doesn't really like making friends. She is very silent about her past. And so that is really, she's very mysterious. And I'm sure Sydney would love it that I said that I called her mysterious. But that is Lilith. And then finally, we have Ulamir, played by Nick. And Ulamir, I believe, is a human. I'm not 100% certain on that. And Ulamir is a shadow monk. And I think I know even less about Ulamir's backstory than I do about Lilith's. He is also very, very secretive. He was raised in a shadow temple, and he had a mentor who was killed. Keep that in mind. And we just kind of met him. That's really all I know about Ulamir's backstory. He's very reserved, very, very silent, except for when he's picking on me. Nick and I kind of have beef, friendly fire, if you will. So he's always trying to take digs at me, but it's okay. And that is everyone's backstory. We do technically have one more character named Dumpling, but Dumpling so sadly has not been seen since session 1. Dumpling is played by Zier, who is a very busy person, and we haven't seen Dumpling since session 1, but Dumpling is a chef that made us food, and it was delicious. And so with everyone's backstory, we're going to jump right into how the campaign started. As most campaigns do, we all met in a brothel. All the other characters were there just kind of hanging out. Zafira, personally, I can speak for her. There was a beacon in the sky that she found, and on her way there, she just kind of stopped at the brothel. Like I said, this is her first time out of the druidic circle. She's never been out in the real world before, so she doesn't really know how things work. So she goes into this brothel, and there we see Lilith at the bar, Ulamir and Slipknot, who are, they're buddies. They know each other. They both actually they also used to work for King Vibaris, and they don't anymore. They're kind of like sellswords, so they were just kind of like hired to work for him, but they don't anymore. So the 3 people who used to work for King Vibaris: Slipknot, Ulamir, Lilith. We got it? All right. So Slipknot and Ulamir know each other, so they're hanging out. Look at that! I muted myself, but I caught it this time, so I don't have to start the stream over. And so we're all in the brothel, and shenanigans ensue as they do. There was a cart with a zombie that like busted through the brothel, and we had our first like fight, and we found out that we have to take this zombie like back to the capital because there's some information the capital can use by studying it, because we are actively fighting an army of dead right now. There is a war going on. So we're like, fuck, we should take this zombie back to the capital. So we go on our merry little way, and by the way, I forgot to say, Windchime is also with us. We don't have Cypress yet. Cypress is not part of the party yet. So it's Zafira, Ulamir, Slipknot, Lilith, and Windchime. 5 of us. We all go on our merry little way, taking the zombie in a cart to the capital. And I have very bad bullet points written out. I have a bad memory, and I am not a note taker, so this is going to be rough. So you got to bear with me. Oh, God. And the thing is, low-key, I don't remember this, like, entire, like, first arc of our campaign. I was going through a lot, all right? Like I said, shenanigans ensue. We meet up with someone, I don't remember who, and they hand us 2 bombs, basically, and they're like, you need to bomb the capital. And we're like, whoa, why are we bombing the capital? We don't want to do that. We find out the bombs are little dragons inside. And Zafira, if you remember, her druidic, I almost said cult. That's a whole thing. Everyone thinks Zafira's in a cult. She is insisting that she's not in a cult, and I almost said druidic cult. Her druidic circle, everyone thinks she's in a cult. It's not a cult, guys. I swear. Was founded in harmony with dragons, but they haven't been seen for centuries. And so here are these 2 dragon bombs, and so she's like, I need these. And so a little fight breaks out. She gets the bombs. We're all good. And everyone's like, why the fuck did you want the bombs so badly? We thought you were going to bomb the capital. And she's like, no, I just have some history with dragons. And so we had some little backstory reveal there. But while we were fighting over the bombs, Cypress enters. Cypress overheard all of us speaking, and Lilith and I had our, like, weapons, like, at her throat, and we're like, fuck. She can't, like, go and tell people we have these bombs. We have to take her with us. So it was a very mild case of kidnapping, but she wanted to come with us, so it was okay. And so that's how Cypress got recruited, and now we have our full party. So good, so fun. And so now we go to the capital at this point, and we meet with, like, how do I want to put this? Like, a teacher of, like, combat there. And she's like, you should go talk to the statue. And we're like, what statue? The statue is of a god that the Army of Radiance worships. It's a statue of someone that they worship. And so we go to the room with the statue, and everyone's, like, doing little prayers and stuff. And we hear, like, voices coming from it. And we're like, does anyone else hear that? No one else can hear the statue. And so we find a way to enter the statue, and we get into this, like, different, like, almost like plane of existence. And we find out the statue's name is Suriel, or the being inside the statue. His name is Suriel. And he's like, he talks like this, and it's really funny. I really like the way he talks. I love it. He's one of my favorites. And he's like, hey guys, you should bring me with you on your journey. And we're like, fuck it, okay. So we steal their god, basically. Well, we don't steal it. We're like, hey, your god told us to take him with us. And they're like, well, shit. I mean, if he told you to, then I guess, yeah. And so we have a god in our pocket now. A god. They think he's a god. Spoiler alert, he's not really a god. They just worship him. And so we become the light's chosen. And so word's kind of getting around. We're kind of getting a little, like a little fame, so to speak, because we're the chosen of the light. So yeah, pretty damn cool. At this point, we go to hell. Why do we go to hell? I could not tell you. I do not remember. While we're in hell, we're trying to sneak into hell on these mine carts, right? But I wanted to use some spells, okay? So I'm like, can I use Druidcraft to make some wind, push our carts, and we can race? Like, I just wanted to play some Mario Kart, man. That's all I wanted. But our DM was like, okay, you use Druidcraft, and now all the carts crash together, making a loud sound, and you fall into the chamber of this, like, hellish priest who was one of the avatars for King Vibaris. We weren't supposed to encounter him yet. He was supposed to be way later down, but I accidentally rushed that encounter. And so he's performing some sort of ritual. And we stop the ritual. We beat him. We're so fucking good. It's amazing. We get 2 pages for something. I still don't know what these are for. I still don't really know. Don't tell Jaeger. But we need 4 of them. What happens when we get all 4 of them? I don't know, but we have 2 of them now. So that was like our entire first arc of the campaign. Can you tell I did a great job of explaining it, right? Everyone tell me, yes, I did. Yes. I didn't. I know. It's okay. The next arc is what I have written in my notes as the Dragon Era. Ooh, dragons! We're halfway to completing Dungeons and Dragons, because we have dragons now. Still haven't seen a dungeon yet. Still! After 7 months, we still have not seen a dungeon. Crazy. So this begins with Zafira, my character, having a vision. And there's a vision of a dragon egg calling out to her. And the egg called her Mama. And so Zafira's like, shit, this is like part of the prophecy. Like, I'm gonna find the dragons. Lo and behold, we find a dragon falling out of the sky. So I'm like, hey, everyone, we need to go get that dragon, because this is a huge part. Girl, the pages seal the gates of hell, so Vibaris can no longer call on his demonic powers. Shit. That was my DM in my comments telling me. I wasn't sure if you were still here or not. Okay, so the pages that we need seal the gates of hell. That's what the priest was doing. The priest was performing a ceremony to open the gates of hell. That's what we stopped him from doing. It's all coming together. So, God damn it. I told you, I have a horrible memory. Anyway, we see a dragon fall out of the sky. And so we go and meet up with the dragon. And Zafira's like freaking out, be like, oh my god, we haven't seen dragons for centuries. This is amazing. So we follow the dragon, naturally. The dragon's like, oh, by the way, the dragon got knocked out of the sky by a giant. We killed the giant. And so the dragon was like, hey, you helped me. Come back to my home. And we're like, fuck yeah, you're a dragon. So we go back to her home. And I tell my party about the vision that I had about the dragon egg. And so we all go. She takes us back to her cave and she turns into a human. So the dragons can like go back and forth between dragon and human. I think that's a normal thing in DnD. I'm not sure. And Zafira tells this dragon about her vision with the egg. And the dragon's like, oh, who else did you tell about this? And Zafira's like, no one. I didn't tell anyone. And the dragon like looks at everyone else and is like, okay, Zafira's mine now. I get to keep her. You have to stay here until your vision comes to pass. And everyone was kind of okay with it, just like leaving me there. And I was like, thanks, you guys. I love you guys too. Thank you so much. But so we stay there for a little bit longer. The dragon says that she has some errands to run and tells us to help ourselves and explore. Slipknot, the tiefling artificer, played by Evan, immediately wants to open the door that she told us not to open, which I think I forgot to mention. She told us we can explore anywhere we want except for one door. She's like, don't go behind this door, that's it. Do whatever you want else. And Slipknot immediately wants to go behind the door, because of course. And so Zephyra and Lilith stop him. Meanwhile, Ulamir, the shadow monk, is going on a little adventure and finds a room with a shepherd, and the shepherd's name is Dave. And so Dave gives us a tour of the place. And Dave is giving us a tour, and we find this, this room that, sinks down. And there are hundreds of spellcasters firing spells at this big, pillar in the middle. And some of the spellcasters seem to be doing it willingly. Some of them are being, whipped into doing this. And so we're like, what the fuck? And so we go up to one of the spellcasters, and we're like, are you, trapped here? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, what are you casting spells for? And they're like, I don't know. We decided that we do not have the manpower to free them right now, so we leave, and we're like, we'll come back for you, we promise. We still haven't come back for them. Oopsie doopsie. So we leave them there. And at this point, the dragon comes back. And she once again reiterates, Zephyra is not allowed to leave. And so everyone was like, okay, can we leave? And she's like, you can try. No guarantee on what's going to happen if you do try to leave. Zephyra can't leave at all. You guys are more than welcome to attempt to leave. And so everyone was like, okay, that's kind of suspicious. Maybe we shouldn't try to leave. So we're all kind of stuck here at this point. And here, some more shenanigans ensue. And we're like, okay, you're sounding kind of evil right now, low key. And she's like, oh, because I am. This dragon is named the Deceiver. And this is one of the 4 dragons that Zephyra's druidic circle was founded in harmony with. The Deceiver. The other ones are the Ruler, the Protector, and the Guide. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. And so we're like, shit, you're evil. And she's like, yeah, I'm evil. Once again, we reiterate. And so she's like, okay, I'll let you guys go on one condition. You all have to make a contract with me. And so we're like, okay, cool. What's the contract? We all make this contract with her. Lilith's contract is to bring the Deceiver the head of 100 innocent men every year. Slipknot's contract is to give all of his earnings to charity. So, the worst thing that could possibly happen to him, because he loves thieving. Cypress's contract is that she must share knowledge on any necromancy, that she gains. Ulamir's contract is that he must cause chaos in the face of happiness. So if he sees, a happy couple together, gotta break them up. Shit like that. Windchime? Oh, shit. What's Windchimes? Hold on. I'm pulling it up. I had it written down somewhere else. Windchime's contract. Oh, Windchime has to bring her trophies of creatures that she kills. And my part of the contract is that I have to become the next Deceiver, basically. And I have to rid the world of weak innocence. So I just have to rid the world of weak people. And she's like, this will come to pass after I die. And so we are like, okay, so we know you're going to die. Is that anytime soon? And she's like, I don't know. It's just going to happen after I die. You're going to become my successor, basically. So really bad. And the point of these contracts is for balance, because some of us have good things, like giving to the poor and stuff like that. Some of us have bad things, like killing 100 innocent men every year. As one does. So we all sign these contracts, and she gives us a shit ton of money, too. We are loaded at this point. Zephyra currently has 47,262 gold. We're loaded. So at this point, the Deceiver asks us if we would like to see the Forbidden Room. And so we're like, yeah, we want to see the room you told us we can't go in. Are you crazy? Also, to make it clear, we signed these contracts in the event that we're just hoping that we don't have to do them and that she'll die pretty soon. Because otherwise, there was no shot we were leaving. So that's why we signed contracts with this evil fucking dragon, okay? And so we go into the door that she told us we can't go behind. And the room has paintings depicting dragons fighting and the fall of a dragon. Pardon me. And so we're like, okay, this must be the other dragons that founded the Druidic Circle. And in the middle of the room is a giant statue of another dragon, and at the feet of the statue is the egg from Zephyra's vision, the dragon egg. And there's a voice that only Zephyra can hear asking from the dragon, asking her for help. And so we all do some cool things, and we end up freeing the dragon. It wasn't just a statue. It was one of the 4 dragons encased in stone. And this one is the ruler. He's good. We think. We hope. We think he's good. He tells us to grab the egg and run. And so that's what we do. We book it. And then the ruler and the deceiver have a grandiose battle. And we're running. We don't know how this battle's going to turn out. They're fighting. We don't have the strength to fight a dragon at this point, even with another dragon on our side. And that is the end of what I wrote as the dragon era. And so this is, I have it written down as the post-dragon cave. So we take shelter in the woods and we meet soldiers of the Army of the Light. And we're like, hey, we're the Light's chosen. You should follow us. And they're like, okay, prove it. Prove you're pretty cool. We end up fighting Nosferatu. No one got to bounce on it crazy style, unfortunately. But yeah, we ended up having a celebration in the bar because that was a really cool battle that we did. And we proved our worth as, like, the Light's chosen. And they're like, okay, you guys are kind of fucking weird, but you're powerful, so yeah, we'll go with you. So we have the whole Army of the Light at our backs now. We're rich, we got an army, we're high rolling. We're ballin' in this world. And some important NPCs in this army. We have Victor, we have Jace. You heard that, right? We have Victor and Jace. They're not lovers in this, unfortunately. But and we have Loris. And these are like 3 like leaders of the Army of the Light. They're like important people. And we decided we want to get a little flirty with them. So, yeah, in my notes, in all caps, I have Loris, Jace, and Victor heart smiley faces. So we're having a party. We're having a grand old time. Loris tucks Zephyra into bed after she gets too drunk because they're both really awkward and flirty with each other, and it was really cute. Tee. And Victor and Cypress stargaze together, and also Jace becomes Cypress's mentor because Jace is a wizard. I think he's a wizard. Might be a sorcerer, maybe. I don't know. Some sort of magic caster. So we all conk out at the bar. Everything's good. The next day, someone comes on King Vibaris's behalf. It's like, you are being demanded. You need to have an audience with Vibaris. And we're like, the fuck we do? No, we don't. And they're like, well, we can tell who y'all care about, and starts talking about Victor, Jace, and Loris. And the person's like, if you don't come and meet Vibaris, then people you love are going to get hurt. And so we're like, fuck, we do have to. And so we go to meet the Necromancer King, Vibaris. He offers us a truce. He says that he will only take over half of the land, and he will only cover half the land in darkness, and we can have the other half. And we're like, fuck no, that's terrible. We don't want any of it. And he starts saying some evil shit to us. He's like, okay, kill me. What do you mean by that? What do you mean, kill you? He's like, yeah, just kill me. You're not going to ally with me, kill me. And so we're like, if we kill this guy, he's a necromancer king. He's going to become more powerful in death, so we don't kill him. He's trying really hard to kill himself at this point, and we're stopping him, and we're, like, healing him, and, you know. And so what he does now is he rolls out Lilith's dead fiance's head. That was pretty traumatizing. Yup. Yeah. Fighting ensues. He disappears, but not before. Oh, yeah. Someone cuts off his legs, by the way. I think it was Lilith that cuts off his legs. And so what he does is he takes the legs from the corpse of Lilith's dead fiancé, and he's like, these are my legs now. And then he disappears. Double traumatizing. Crazy. At this point, it's revealed that Slipknot, the tiefling artificer, is the one that killed Ulamir's mentor because, like I said, he's a sellsword and it was a job. And he did it. And so they start fighting. Ulamir gets, like, overtaken by Shadow and, like, starts beating the shit out of him, beats him to, like, the brink of death. And we're like, oh my god, he, like, lost control of himself. And so while that's happening, Cypress was upstairs, and she finds something. She finds, like, the will of King Vibaris, and, like, what he wants to do with the world. And so she's like, Zephyra, go upstairs, go get it. And so Zephyra and Slipknot go upstairs. Zephyra's, like, healing Slipknot. But then Zephyra begins hallucinating. And what she hallucinates is her entire grove burning, and all of her people dying. And they're all, like, just horrid looking. And they all look at her and they point at her and they say, your fault. And they keep saying that over and over and over. And while this is just a hallucination, she believes that it's another prophetic vision because she had the prophetic vision of the egg, of the dragon egg. So she's, like, going insane at this point. Meanwhile, downstairs, everyone else is going mad. And Lilith is sitting at, like, a pit and the edge of darkness because we can't leave this room. It's, like, surrounded by, like, a pit of darkness. So we're all stuck here and we're all going batshit insane. We're all seeing visions, going mad, everything. The darkness is calling out to Lilith saying that she can be reunited with her fiance if she just jumps in. Windchime has this dagger. I don't remember specifically what the dagger's powers are, but Windchime starts slashing through the air and rips through the illusions, like physically, like rips through the illusions like they're paper or something. But not everyone sees that that's what's happening. And so Slipknot sees that the illusion is broken. So Slipknot jumps through the door and, like, jumps into the pit of darkness, and he makes it out safe. Meanwhile, what everyone else sees is Slipknot plummeting to his death. So again, we're all going crazy. Eventually, we all find out it's illusions. We escape safely. Our next stop is, hello, can't speak. Our next stop is Cypress's village. Because, like I said in the beginning, Cypress's village has, like, a curse on it. And so we're like, we don't really know what to do at this point. Cypress's village is nearby. Let's go by and see if we can help. So we go to her parents, and her parents are, like, high elves in this, or, like, one of them is a high elf. They're, like, high-ranking people in this village. Like, the leaders, basically. But her parents are assholes, and they're like, we're not gonna help you, blah, 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 blah. I turn into a goat, and I eat her dad's robes, and then Ulimir and Slipknot both shit on their parents' beds. It was a whole thing. And then we go pet shopping, because what else should you do when an imminent curse is happening? You go pet shopping, right? We meet a mind flayer, we meet a griffin, and we're like, what's, like, the weirdest shit you can show us? And because at this point we're like, okay, this is kind of inhumane, so we wanted to have him keep showing us stuff so we could plan to, like, free them later. And at the very last end of the pet shop, there is a man in a cage, and we're like, why the fuck do you have a man? And there's, like, an arcane symbol on the ground in front of it, and he's like, I don't know, I get paid to keep him here, he stays here, someone casts this ward over his cell, not supposed to let him go. And so we start talking to him, and we're like, hey, you good? And he's like, no, can you let me out? And we're like, fucking obviously we're gonna let you out, jeez. And so I end up buying him. I paid to get him freed. No one else wanted me to do this. They're like, he's obviously evil. Don't let him out. And I'm like, we can't just leave a man in a cage. He hasn't done anything to us yet. We can talk to him. You don't know he's evil, so I buy him. Yeah, everyone loves to make that joke that I bought a man. I paid for his release. That's not the same thing, right? Anyway, we're like, it's still gonna sound bad. We handcuff him. Because, again, we don't know if he's evil or not. So we handcuff him with, like, these arcane cuffs just in case. But he breaks through them, like, quickly. And he's like, you dumb fucking cunts. This guy talks like a frat bro, by the way. I can't recreate the voice, but it's really funny. He's like, why would you do that? I was gonna get out anyway. He goes, by the way, that arcane sigil on the ground, that was fake. That was all for show. I could have gotten out if I wanted to, but now you guys did it, and it's on your hands, and you have to deal with this. We named him Superman, by the way. We don't know his real name. He is another avatar for King Vibaris. He was sent to us because we pissed Vibaris off by not killing him, and so he got sent to us to make our lives hell, basically. And he starts spitballing these insane insults at us. He's an asshole. And we end up fighting him. He kills a lot of the village. It turns out he's an avatar of the Rot Mother, and that's, like, the plague that's, like, taking over the village. Like, everything is, like, rotting. So he's an avatar of Vibaris, and he's an avatar of the Rot Mother. During this fight, he kills a lot of people. This is, if you guys have seen my TikTok, I made a skit about it. I turned him into a sheep at one point so he would stop dealing damage, and he threw himself off the building he was standing on to dismiss the polymorph. It was terrible, but it was really funny. During the fight, this is important, he knocks out Windchime, Cypress, and Ulamir. They get knocked out during the fight. Someone gets killed. I don't remember who, but I brought them back to life because I'm cool, so it's okay. My next bullet point is our boys do fuck shit. If I ever say our boys, I'm referring to Loris, Victor, and Jace, the 3 NPCs that are, like, leaders of the Army of Light. They end up growing wings during the battle and doing some, like, divine shit and, like, absolutely body this man. And so we're like, what the fuck are you? We thought you were just some random generals. What are these wings growing out of your back? Anyway, we finally incapacitate Superman. We can't kill him because he knows the cure to the village curse. And so we give him this poison, what's known as Widowmaker's poison. And it makes the victim tell the truth for 24 hours and then they die. And so he tells us that the people who got knocked out during battle are cursed. They're, like, throwing up, like, black, like, bile at this point. And we have to go to the higher planes in order to cure them. And so we're like, okay, la 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 la. Oh, yeah, forgot to mention. We go to banish him to hell with a banishment arrow. Windchime misses, hits Lilith instead. Lilith goes to hell for 40 years. It happened in the blink of an eye for us. She was already back. She went to hell for 40 years because Windchime missed their target with the banishment arrow. The way Lilith got brought back from hell was that her fiance, who's in hell, made a pact saying, like, freeing her. I don't know all the logistics of it. I don't really remember. But so that happened. That was crazy. We find out that inside Superman is Cypress's old mentor. So we freed her. It was some weird woman who swallowed a fly situation. Fucking, I don't know. We saved the village! La 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 la! Yay! The ruler also came back during this to help us. That was a big piece of information I just missed. The good dragon came back and helped us save the village. And then he went back to my druidic grove to let them know that dragons are back, by the way. Also, I forgot to mention, I have a little bird named Email. He talks with a New York accent, and I'm the only one who can hear him, and he has a crush on Windchime. Just so you guys know. So he goes back to my druidic grove, and he's like, meet me there when you can. So I'm like, oh, I get to go home soon. Awesome. But until then, we go to Taco Towers, which is Taco Bell, but Taco Towers. And there's only one of them. Don't ask what happened to the other one. There was an incident. The Taco Towers incident. Yeah. And we have tacos. And this is where we confront Victor, Jason, Loris. And we're like, what the fuck are you guys? How do you have all these, like, divine powers? And they're like, yeah, we're kind of like angels. That's why we're generals in the Army of the Light. We're devas. That's what they are. They're devas. And Zafira's mad because she's like, you kept this a secret from me. I thought we, like, had something. But it's okay. All was forgiven. They didn't kiss. They made up. It was okay. So we have to go to the higher planes to cure those who were downed in the battle. Otherwise, they're going to die in 72 hours. But the issue is, since Victor, Jason, Loris, and Suriel, remember the god that we had in our pocket? I forgot to tell you. Slipknot turned him into his arm. Since he's an artificer, he built him into his arm and has a light cannon now. He has a god arm cannon. Whatever. We have to go to the higher planes, but we find out that once we go to the higher planes, Victor, Jace, Loris, and Suriel cannot return. It would be very, very difficult for them. They're kind of like soul tied to the higher planes. So once they go there, they can't come back. And so we're all kind of grieving with that fact that we're going to lose our boys. But we accept that it's what we have to do in order to save our friends. So the next arc is the heaven arc. We go to fucking heaven. You know, Lilith just spent 40 years in hell. Now we're in heaven. We come across 3 gods. There's a little child, a middle-aged person, and a really fucking old person. And we're like, hey, can you help us free the village from the curse? And the little boy god is like, yeah, build me a temple and I'll do it. And we're like, we're loaded. We got a lot of money. Yeah, we'll build you a temple. We'll do it. So, yippee! The village is freed. Yay! And now we're like, hey, can you do us another favor, please? And we're like, we know that Victor, Jace, Loris, and Suriel are, like, your guys. They're, like, your avatars and they speak on your behalf. But could you pretty please free them from whatever binds them here? Because we want to fuck. We didn't say that, but that's basically why we want them free so they can come back to the regular world with us. And they're like, we can, but we need someone to be an avatar in their place. Guess who volunteers to be an avatar in their place? Lilith. The tiefling who just spent 40 years in hell is Jesus now. She's a new avatar for these gods in the higher planes. She is Jesus. This happened on Easter, by the way. This accidentally became our Easter special session. Lilith became Jesus. And so now our boys are free, and we returned all from the higher plane. Everyone's cured, everyone's good. This was after we went to Heaven Dave & Buster's, by the way. We did go to Dave & Buster's in heaven, got crunk, played some skee ball, and then we went back. And everything is good. Now we have our boys, but they're no longer Devas. They're mortal now. Suriel kind of had, no, not Siri. Suriel kind of had a little crisis because he was worshipped, and he's like, what am I now? Like, what was I made for? And so he's going through it. We go back to the capital to let them know, be like, hey, your god is mortal now. We need help. We still need your army. And Suriel goes crazy and, like, throws an old woman across a room. And then he's like, what? What did I do? I don't remember doing that. And we're like, oh, you need therapy, baby. And so Suriel and Jace go and they run off together into the woods to deal with whatever Suriel's going through, because he's going through some sort of identity crisis. Got a text from my sister. And so at this point, we're like, okay, time to go back to the Druid Grove. And so this is the Druid Grove arc. We're nearing the end. Don't worry. We're almost over. Hey, 7 months of content into an hour, not bad. So we go back to the Druid Grove, and this is the first time Zephyr has been back since leaving. So we go up to the front gates. We get ambushed until we see one, like, big honkin' elf come forward. And he's like, hey, you're home. It's my dad. Spoiler, surprise. My dad is one of the people on the Druidic Council. I'm a Nepo baby, guys. And so we all go to the Druidic Grove, and everyone's celebrating that I'm back, because I've been gone for so long. Blah, 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 blah. I'm famous. It's fine. So we're like, hey, Dad, how's it been? And he's like, oh, great. The council's disbanding. The Druidic Council being 4 druids plus my dad. And we're like, why the fuck is the council disbanding? And he's like, well, the ruler's back, so the ruler can just tell us what to do. We don't need a council anymore. And we're like, no, that's so stupid. And so we meet with the council to try to convince them to stay together for all these reasons. And we're like, you can't let a dragon rule you. We're not beating the cult allegations this way. A dragon does not have the knowledge, like, enough knowledge on how, like, we as beings live. We need a council to, like, mediate decisions and things like that. You know, you guys get the idea. And they're like, no, we don't. So 2 out of 4 council members agree with me. The other 2 disagree with me and they still want to disband. Meanwhile, my dad is sitting there like, he's dissociating real bad and no one can get him back. Until we mention King Vibaris and he snaps back and he's like, what about Vibaris? Do you know him? And we're like, yeah, we met him. He wanted us to kill him. We didn't. He's an evil necromancer king. Do you know him? And he's like, oh, I made a deal with Vibaris. The fuck you mean you made a deal with Vibaris, Dad? Turns out, King Vibaris visited the Druidic Grove while we were off adventuring. And since my dad is fucking stupid, apparently, he was like, yeah, he looked nice. And we're like, okay, what did he want? What do you mean you allied with him? And he's like, well, we've been providing him bodies. Dead bodies? You know, the kind that he can raise into an army of dead? And they also taught him spells on how to preserve these dead bodies. To keep feeding his army. They're like, well, we didn't know it was for evil. Are you stupid? You dumb motherfucker. And we're like, what did he offer you in exchange for this? And they're like, he knows the location of the other 2 dragons. So we're like, okay, fine. That's helpful information. But you allied with King Vibaris. Crazy. Things are heated. We take a break for the night. The next day, the rest of us go exploring in the Druidic Grove the next day to try to calm things down. Cypress ends up finding these secret tunnels. Secret tunnel! And we all explore it. And we go down these tunnels and we find a giant fucking spider. Terrifying. I end up noticing that this spider is actually a druid in wild shape. And so I'm like, hey, stop! This isn't you! They recognize me, because like I said, I'm a Nepo baby in this Druid Grove, and they still keep attacking me. So we're like, fuck. You want us dead. We end up knocking the spider out, reverting it back from its wild shape. It is one of the council members. One of the council members just tried to kill us. It was one of the 2 that disagreed with us. And so we, like, freeze them and, like, drag their ass back up. And we drop them in front of the rest of the council. And we're like, they just tried to kill us. Meanwhile, the one that just tried to kill us is trying to summon King Vibaris and be like, Lord, help me. They captured me. So we shut that shit up real quick. And we're like, see? She's evil. And they're like, fuck. We gotta execute her. Hello. Can we question her first, maybe? And they're like, no, we gotta execute her. So they go drag her to the gallows to execute her. We're like, okay, can we pause on the execution for a second? Can we make more Widowmaker's poison so she tells the truth for 24 hours and then she dies and we can get intel on the army? And they're like, yeah, fine, that's fair. While all that's going on, Ulamir slipped off back into the tunnels because he heard forbidden tunnels. Yeah, there's shit down there. I want it. So Ulamir's exploring the tunnels. He comes across my dad's man cave and there is a portrait of my dad, my mother, who, if you haven't noticed, I have not mentioned yet, and me, younger. And he's like, fuck, this is depressing. He ends up finding the staff of one of the very first Druidic Council members. He steals that. He goes back up. And so there's just this portrait of me and my mother, and I had this conversation with my dad. I'm like, I had a whole conversation about my dad, about how he's been, like, babying me and protecting me and, like, why I was sent out on this mission in the first place. He was like, I was hoping it would make you strong and so you could be a good leader one day. And up until then, I had never left. I'm like, you didn't prepare me for the world. It was a whole argument. I'm like, you did not prepare me for what was out there. And he's like, I just wanted to protect you. So I said, is this about Mom? And he goes, yeah. Because my mom has not been mentioned until now. She just disappeared one day. We don't know what happened to her. And I said, don't you think I deserve to know what happened? And he goes, if I knew what happened, you would know too. So apparently my dad doesn't even know why my mom disappeared. She was just gone one day. And that's where we left off, was with the imminent execution of one of the four council members, one of the two that defied us. And by the way, it was the second one that defied us that ordered the execution. So we're thinking that she's got something to hide and doesn't want us to find out, and that's why she's so insistent on executing her right away. But that's where we left off, and tomorrow we'll pick right back up with we have the Widowmaker's poison ready to go, and that's where it's at. I don't know if any of this made sense to you guys, but I hope it clears some things up a little bit. And this light is giving me a headache, so I'm just going to end the stream. But I'm really excited for you guys to start seeing this campaign. We're nearing the end of it, but we're going to continue it, but from the villain's point of view. So that's going to be fun. But D&D streams are every Sunday at 6:30 CST. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Toodaloo!